Banjo-Tooie is a big step up from Tooie in a ton of ways. The levels are bigger, there are more moves, more characters, and most importantly, there are more minigames. Anyone who's played this game is sure to be familiar with the Kickball minigame featured in Mayhem Temple and again in Hailfire Peaks. There are 6 rounds between the two of them, but the most prestigious is round 2 of Hailfire Peaks. Here's the story of how I claimed the world record for Banjo-Tooie's most infamous minigame. But before we get into that, let's first talk about how round 2 of Kickball works. Each player begins with 50 points, and each red ball you score on your goal reduces the score. Lowest score when time runs out wins. Simple, right? On paper, yes. But in reality, there's a lot going on beneath the surface. To begin, the red balls that spawn on the field come in 2 different forms. Regular 1-point balls and 2-point balls. For simplicity's sake, we'll call the 1-point balls regulars and the 2-pointers glowsives. So to get a good score, all it sounds like you need is some good luck with the glowsives. But that's not actually the case. You also need good luck with the spawns. Any regular or glowsive can spawn anywhere on the field, meaning you may be getting a lot of glowsives, but you're also running across the field for each one, which will cost you in the long run. That's just some of the RNG involved, but let's talk about the skillful mechanics backing up Kickball 2. Banjo here has a limited moveset. He can press Z to shoot a ball, and press B to slide tackle. When you grab a ball and shoot it, its speed and travel distance is directly correlated to how long the Z button is held. Fortunately, instead of becoming Raymond and calculating the exact amount of time the Z button needs to be held, we can hold the Z button prior to grabbing a regular glowsive, and the power will automatically be adjusted to how long the Z button has already been held. This is the bread and butter of getting good scores in Kickball, regardless of what round you're in. But what about the slide tackle? Well, this ability has some pros, and it has some cons. A slide tackle can be used to steal a ball from one of your opponents, or to close a gap of space quickly. The huge drawback to this ability is that there's a delay before Banjo can be moved again after the slide tackle, which eats up precious time. This ability should really only be used to steal a ball that's already been shot by your opponent, and speaking of opponents, let's talk about the biggest hurdle in Kickball. The AI of Banjo-Tooie's Kickball opponents is fairly straightforward. They run towards the ball closest to them and attempt to score for themselves. However, the AI also has the ability to slide tackle, and it appears that if you're grabbing a ball within range of their slide tackle, you better be prepared to get launched sky high and lose precious seconds. Dealing with an AI gunning for your glowsive is difficult enough, but you got 3 of these bad boys running around at any given time. Chances are, the speed at which you score regulars and glowsives will draw at least one of these AI near your goal, and all of a sudden you've created an artificial goalie. This is run killing to say the least, and the only prayer you can make is that all 3 get in a scuffle for one ball while you nail regulars and glowsives. With all of the astronomical odds stacked against you, an excellent score is hard to come by. Even a good score is hard to come by. However, hard to come by isn't impossible. It just takes time and a positive mindset, which I happen to have. Oh no, it's impossible. It's impossible. I set out to take the world record for this minigame, which at the time would have been a low score of 6, which already had insane RNG of its own. But I knew I had what it took, and after only 2.5 hours of attempts, my skills had been honed to the max, and the game threw me a winning lottery ticket. A 3. The glowsives, the spawns, the friendly AI. The stars aligned and I didn't choke it away. Unfortunately, the AI did step in during the final moments, which took away my chance at a perfect game, but the achievement was a loud and proud world record. And yet, I didn't feel like I'd come far enough. I haven't seen a lottery ticket like that again yet, even after tens of hours of gameplay. But I remain resolute on my quest to eventually be the first player to score a perfect game of round 2 Kickball. But until then, I'll have to settle for the title of world's best kickball player. Thanks for watching.